So, another film review, as I can't be bothered to type them up. This is for Travis Stevens' Jacob's Wife.
You ever see something you couldn't explain, Sheriff?
You don't know how to fight for me because you've never done it.
Give me the strength to save her soul!
We need to finish this!
Holy shit, this film has no right to be this good. Vampire films have become a bit of a cliche now, a little bit moat. This is superb. It's very much of the genre. It is paying tribute and homage to, but not in a really cringy, overt way where it's recreating it and seems very beholden to it. An era of vampire movies, The Lost Boys, that specific era of almost pop kitsch, teen sensibility. This has a central performance, not a guest starring or cameo, a central role for Barbara Crampton. And if you don't know who Barbara Crampton is, she was notarized specifically in the late 80s as the woman who got a bit nude, or fully nude, or got her breasts out for the likes of Stuart Gordon and his movies From Beyond and Reanimator. Two superb movies I recommend you check out. Barbara Crampton since has had cameo roles, or she's merely been there as an emblem of the era that she comes from. She had a bit part in Your Next, Adam Wingard's sensational slasher movie, but she was a non-entity. Barbara Crampton, see? We like Barbara Crampton. See? We know our horror. It was almost like a show-offy thing, almost like a trophy. We've got Barbara Crampton, whereas Travis Stevens and the co-writers of this have written a role that explores sensuality, the sexiness, the inhibitions of an older woman, especially the inhibitions of an older woman of whom is in thrall to a minister who's deeply religious. There's certain expectations. She feels degraded in this relationship. She feels like she's mollycoddled by this minister, mollycoddled in the sense of his beliefs, and it's shrunk her down. She wants a life broader, more open, more free, and getting bitten gives her that opportunity. Also, Larry Fessenden, I've seen him in quite a few films recently. He was usually on my radar for being an actor, of whom he's a well-known director and has his own, I believe, visual effects production team. And he was in a couple of movies from Chad Finkel, the highly recommended Jugface and the not so recommended Dementor, and he played the cult leader's hick. And then when I saw him appear in Jacob's Wife, I was like, fuck, this guy isn't just a actor to get the money, indie director on the side. He has his finger in a lot of pies, and he has a real good range. He's good at comedy, good at serious acting. This movie doesn't overplay the kitsch or the campness. I mean, the gore is torrential in a lot of ways, but it is about character. And this is probably the most beautifully written. There's a lot where it can be on the nose, that you can boop it, but as soon as you boop it, it just explodes in a spray of gory delight. It's got enough gore to satiate the gore hounds. It's actually got enough substance and nuance to appeal to people who are looking for an easy film to relax to. I think it's a really good film for middle-aged couples to watch and go, fuck, we need to either get bitten by a vampire to zhuzh our life up or not turn into these people. It's a fable in a lot of ways. It's a modern fable. It's very clever, and Barbara Crampton, the thing is, these movies aren't ever going to be recognised at the Oscars, even though they should, for technicalities, makeup, cinematography, score. But for performance, she really sunk her teeth into this. I know, terrible joke, but it's a very good film. Travis Stevens was first on my horizon for his weird body horror, house, grunge, sexual, girl on the third floor, cringe fest. Not cringe in like, oh, this is a cringe film, but cringe fest as in, where there's leaky cummy taps and it's a haunted house that is excreting sexual juices. This movie makes the vampire movie sexy again, sensual, relatable. It's handled with care. I've read a few reviews there where they slander this and say it's simplistic, it's not nuanced enough. This is the best written vampire thing I've watched in a while. Vampire films are a little bit, old hat now, and you're not ushered anything new to it. Nothing new is contributed to it, but it's a new perspective and a new angle, and I was thoroughly entertained. Also, I don't know what the budget was. I don't know if it was higher than Travis Stevens' last film, but not by much of a stretch, and it's beautiful. What I love about Travis Stevens' films is the care and the detail, the symmetry of the framing of the shots, the dedicatedness, and a lot of these indie films, they cut corners, and sometimes when they cut corners and they take the easy route, the cheaper route, it really shows, but none of this looks cheap. Only when the gore and that kitsch camp 80s horror Lost Boys aesthetic comes to the fore, that Joe Schumacher flavour, which I think this is quite beholden to, and a whole other variant of vampire-based films, like Toby Hooper's mini television series of Salem's Lot. I recommend this. I was close to giving this 5 stars. I was just like enthralled by it. Also, Barbara Crampton gives a really brave performance. She also, has been notarized for being quite strict in the conventions of don't come up to my table with nude images, and there's more to me than just my breasts. And it kind of feeds back into this. There is nudity from her, but it isn't done in a gratuitous look at my body way, or I'm owning it now, I've been so uncomfortable with it at conventions. It's in tribute and in tone with the story, the bloomage of her, the sexuality between her and Jacob. This film is really good. I give it 4 stars. It is very, very good. Nuanced, sophisticated, silly, kitsch, but there's a great aesthetic, a great look, a great production. Everything to the minutiae is detailed, the surface detail. It's so deeply ingrained in the DNA, but it's not there in a almost disingenuous way, in an artificial way. It's not artifice. It is just the texture of this world. It's felt, it's real. Some comedy beats didn't hit, but it's a really well written, well paced, well cut, well envisioned vampire thriller, romantic comedy. Watch it. Jakob's Wife.